G'day, welcome back to the 40 channel. So today is pretty awesome. Nothing to do with my build at all, but we've come down, we've met Blake, so we're down on the Central Coast, which is a bit foreign to me. I'm loving it. It's a bit of the beach, surf, but forget that stuff. We're here to talk to Blake. Actually, I'm not going to say much about it. I'm going to let you tell us your story. Let's go from, where'd you get this thing from?
Yeah, so it's a 1982 HJ47. We drove all the way up to Queensland, my old man and I. Found it on, I think, Facebook Marketplace. Half disassembled. It was sort of brushed back down to sort of a primer in some aspects. All of the walls, the doors, the roof was off, and it was sort of just, it was still rolling, but it was very like a half-assed project that the guy had just given up on. So
turn the key to it. No,
he claimed that the last time he started it fired right up, but we didn't know the conditions, so we didn't risk it. The engine got taken out when we got it back here. It got completely dismantled. We just had a bare chassis on some stands, all the brake lines and wiring ripped out, body off, and everything went in different directions for repairs. So we had the body sent off. At the time I didn't know how to weld, so body sent off for rust repairs, and I went down to Melbourne to Kingsley.
Yes.
Yeah, I went down to sort of Kingsley, met him, lovely bloke, bought a bunch of rust repair panels, all the back quarters, floor pans, all the common spots. So all of that got bought from Kingsley, came back up here, all went in for rust repairs. All the walls needed rust repairs, the whole lot. So all that happened. In the meantime, I stripped back the chassis. The engine went away for a rebuild to suit turbo, which is all being rebuilt now. And then all the chassis got blasted and painted as well. And then it came back. While all the rust repairs were happening, I did all new suspension, all new steering arms, all the diffs got rebuilt, disc brakes, power steering, all of that stuff got ordered, and pretty much every nut and bolt you can see, front to back.
So we quickly touched on the engine.
Yes.
Now, about 2 years ago, I rocked up to this exact shed. You weren't here. The chassis was standing on some stands, and I was picking up some extractors for the 2H that went into mine. Now, you've done a lot more work to your motor than I have, and the reason you didn't need the extractors is because you've added a few extra little bits and pieces to your 2H.
Yeah, so when it got rebuilt, all pistons, head studs, all the gaskets to suit turbo, and it's got a Denko turbo kit on it, or it did. I ended up taking the manifold off and selling it, and got a whistle and soot manifold, which I ended up flipping. So we've got a bit more of a high mount turbo. It's still got the Denko turbo. Ended up getting the pump sent away, sending to JH Hilux up in Queensland. He rebuilt it, and it's supposed to be capable of putting out 200 wheel horsepower as it sits.
That's very impressive for a 2H. So
we'll see. We'll see if the pump can put its money where its mouth is, but that's what's supposed to happen. Either way, if we get half that out of the 2H, we're pretty stoked. So
absolutely. How far are we off getting this on the road?
Well, I've been saying a couple of months for a couple of years. So
I'm sure everyone's been in the same situation as that. I know I have. So yeah. Now I've done a quick walk around this, and I noticed there is not a single thing that you haven't missed, and you've gone to the extra little bits of detail. So I noticed you've got a lot of stainless steel lines, you've got hidden all your wiring, you've gone to a huge effort with this blade. This is amazing.
Yeah, and like we got to a point where we're like, right, here's our budget, this is what we want to spend on the build, and let's do that. We hit that, and the car wasn't even like half together. We're like, okay. So, and it got to a point where every time we wanted to do something, we're like, oh, we've come this far, let's just do it. You know, so things even down to having all these braided fuel lines in here with all these radium fittings and ProFlow fittings and stuff, like just the little stuff to sort of tart it up a little bit. Just anything to make it shiny, get all of the injector lines powder coated to sort of match the rest of the engine bay. All the vacuum lines remade in stainless, like anything that I could do to sort of just make it look a bit more modern, a bit neater, and sort of make it look like the money that's been spent on it. Yeah, we just went to the effort and just did it. So
aircon's going into it as well.
Aircon through Brett, great to deal with. All the brackets came with it. The unit looks like an original one. It's phenomenal.
They are very impressive.
It's
absolutely.
A bit of a struggle to get a compressor, but a bit of asking around and who to get it from and where to get it and which one to get, and got the right one. I thankfully have a few of the AC brackets for a 2H, so
sweet.
I got lucky with that. It's too hot down here to too hot to not have
it. It's a hot day today.
Yeah.
I've spent most of the morning in the beach, so it's lovely.
Some aftermarket flares for the rear, aftermarket rear bar and front bumper that's coming. The upper guards here, the front grille.
Now these upper guards, I tell you, as soon as I walked into this place, this thing catches your eye as it is. It's absolutely beautiful. But as you walk along this thing, you notice a few different little things that really stand out. And one of them is that this is clean as, there's no blinker or anything here, you've deleted that. But what grabs your eye, well, grabbed my eye, was this particular guard. You don't have to worry about your Landcruiser badge ever fading, breaking, cracking, and on top of that, you're able to incorporate a blinker behind the Landcruiser badge. That's beautiful.
So if anyone didn't know what it was, as soon as I turn a blinker on, they'll know pretty quick when it's flashing at them. But yeah, it did a few things with the body line. When I was getting the bodywork all done and painted, I asked the guys to do some little things, like we did the two-tone for the side step so we don't brush the paint off the top, so we got the Raptor. Down the side, in the walls where there was the join between the window and Troopies, I had that all welded up and filled up so it's one seamless panel. And the same as it wraps around the back corner, there's actually a seam there on the Troopies.
It just glides, like it catches your eye when you walk in, it just glides straight down the whole body of this Troopy. It just looks so smooth and clean. And the white, mate, I can imagine this in the sun, will just boom, glisten.
Well, I got it painted because this Troopy was originally white. It was actually the Toyota white. It wasn't like your yellow ones. And it's not a mustard Troopy or anything. So I thought I want to use the original colour, but they started painting the inside first, and he started painting it, and he sent me a picture and goes, "This is the paint code. This is what it looks like." It was a really off yellow colour, and I said that looks terrible. So he split it and mixed it 50-50 with like just straight white, like pure white. And this is the creamy sort of colour we came up with, and everyone who sees it just says it's a phenomenal colour, and I'm stoked with it. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, let's have a bit of a look inside. All right, so interior. I'm quickly popping this door open. I can see a whole lot of stuff on this dash that is certainly not standard, but incredibly impressive. So let's start from right at the beginning here where a tacho would originally go, and let's move across the dash and tell us what you've got there, Blake.
Yeah, so we've I sort of took the tacho out because, as you'll see, the next section across the dash, I've got a Dakota digital dash in there. So it comes with a tacho in it. But the tacho, I took it out, put a red arc, EGT and boost gauge there. Obviously running a turbo, you want to know all of those details. So we move across, I've got a Pioneer screen there, a floating screen for Apple CarPlay, and so I can have sort of maps in my stereo. That all actually fit in surprisingly well, like where an original stereo would go. It just doesn't hit the gear stick or anything, so we're cleared there. And then where the ashtray goes, I've had that all cut out and replated to suit the AC control module.
Yes, well that stands out, that's beautiful.
Looks factory. If you look at it, you'd think that's where it went. I mean, none of us smoke these days in cars, or not many of us anyway. No, that's right. And definitely no one will be in this. So we didn't need the ashtray, so utilise that spot a little bit better with the controls.
I noticed you've got new upholstery. Now this colour looks spectacular. It's come up absolutely mint. It's beautiful. So the upholstery carries on right through to the back, doesn't it? Yeah, so the upholstery, I saw a car on Instagram that was over in the UAE, and they had a similar sort of tan colour interior, and I loved it. So I went over, I picked the colour, and I thought, yeah, that looks about right. Then the seats were done, and outside the car I was really worried. I thought, wow, these look orange. These look very, very bright orange. Got them in the car, and I was stoked. It's the perfect colour. Yeah, that's good. And there's another thing, you've got a common theme going on here. Most people might have already picked up that you have a black roof. Now, everyone that knows 40s have white roofs now. So I really like you've got the contrast, but you've also done the black on the inside, you've got the black on the steps, so you've got that really nice two-tone which really complements each other. That looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's starting to look a bit like a zebra, but I think it's worked out overall as I wanted it to. As you said, the white roof with the white body would have looked a bit ridiculous, I think. It sort of just would have blended into a bit of a boring look for the outside. And with some of the bigger black accents now with these aftermarket windows, the aftermarket guards here, I think the black and white so far hasn't gone over the top and it's sort of just balanced it nicely.
Yeah, I really like it. And these windows, now, obviously they're not a genuine style window, but they give this Troopy a really nice, almost like a bit of a touring look, but they look fantastic. Nice, they just seem to sit beautifully in there. And the back window isn't your normal slide window.
No, so the windows are from complete sliding windows down in South Australia, matching sliding windows for the front with the same flange around it, so it also just tied in together instead of looking a bit new and old on the side of the car.
I'm really glad you can go the rivet because it just gives a really clean look, especially that you've gone to the effort of taking out those dividers.
Seams, yeah.
Yep, it just gives it a super clean look all the way along it. So
yeah, absolutely stoked with it.
Yep. Now, you spoke about custom front bar, which is on its way, I believe.
Yep, McKinnon's Cruisers is...
Yeah, McKinnon's Billy, good on you.
Yep.
And a rear bar. Now, TEQ logo on the side, you know, that I actually noticed that on a few different parts hidden away, as well as the one on the back bar. So that's pretty cool.
So Sam McNeese, again, he's on all the 40 series pages. You can find him on Facebook anywhere. Makes some phenomenal products. I've got a front grille from him, all stainless steel, laser cut front grille with diesel laser cut into it.
Yep.
Where I've got those blinkers in the top upper guards, they're all stainless and laser cut from Sam as well. You may have seen some photos or videos. You'll notice the shock towers, all laser cut from Sam as well. Phenomenal work, everything he sent me. A lot of them have been prototypes because I've been the first person to sort of order them. And since then he's even fine-tuned them more, so it's all just great quality products. So.
You spoke about it being stainless steel. Now, especially with everyone knows your front bib is one of the most common places to rust out the bottom. If you're not into cutting and welding, or you're not quite confident with that, stainless steel, whole new laser cut, gives a bit more of I guess, a modern finish.
It does, yeah.
And you're never going to have that rust problem ever again.
He'll do it, he does them in mild steel, of different thicknesses as well, so you don't have to get stainless. He just offered it at the time and it seemed like a good idea.
Yeah, cool.
So I went with it.
Now this, I have to say, is probably one of the cleanest Troopies I've ever seen. You've done an incredible job, Blake. You should be super proud of it. And I can't imagine how many people are keen to see this out on the road, but yourself, I guess. Who's helped you? Who's been part of this main build?
So it's just been a lot of after hours work, a lot of help from my old man, and I get my brother in to help me do stuff, get my mates in every now and then to help me do bits and pieces. But yeah, it's been a bit of a labour of love and a bit of a Frankenstein as far as where all the parts came from. It's from all over the world, so.
You've tied it in beautifully. Now, I noticed that you are a real Toyota nut, because it's not just the 40 series. Now, I'm a 40 series nut, but Toyota in general is fantastic. Now, tucked up behind the camera is something a little bit more unique. You don't see these on the road very often. What is it, Blake?
Yeah, so a lot of you will also know this if you've been in the 40 series or old Landcruiser community for a while. I've got Ben Keen's old FJ55.
Yep.
No longer really an FJ. If there was such thing as a HJ55, this would be it. It's got the 12HT in it and a 5-speed manual, but it's it's a bit of an off-road weapon. It's got twin locks, got all 60 and 40 series diffs under it, and 75 series suspension. Goes anywhere you point it.
It looks like an absolute beast. The old 55s had that front on. It just looks like it's just coming at you all the time. Like it's a brilliant looking vehicle, and they are, as far as I'm concerned, they're rarer than the 40 series. You don't see them on the road
ever, no,
at all. So
I think I've seen one ever.
Yep.
And it was way out in Whoop in the middle of nowhere.
And on top of that, you've just recently purchased an 80 series as well.
Yeah, just recently purchased an 80 series that's got the 1FZ in it. Built top end, big turbo, and it's pushing about 300 kilowatts at the tyres. So it's for an 80 series, it's a bit hairy. I've put a part-time kit through it, so it's rear-wheel drive now because the torque steer used to just be unbearable. So it's a bit easier to drive now, but yeah, it's not something you hear from an 80 series very often when it drives past. It's something different for sure.
So as far as Toyotas and Blake goes, everything you own is a head turner.
I mean, I'd like to say unintentionally, but it was kind of intentional.
Yep.
But yeah, no, they all stand out in their own way.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Well, mate, really appreciate you sharing your build, especially the 40. Mate, great job again. Thanks for your time, mate. Really appreciate it.
No, anytime.
Good on you, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.